What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. What is up? Good morning. Welcome to Hump Day with Hansen here at fantasypoints.com. The Fantasy Points YouTube page, 20,000+ subscribers strong here. This is a midweek AM hang here, and they give me the toughest assignment because it's Wednesday morning and we're still doing all our research. We're still trying to unpack everything that occurred in week number one. It is literally the most difficult spot of the week, basically, because we don't have the injury report out. Again, we're still doing our little research. So not a ton in terms of looking forward toward week number two. We do have our projections up on the website. We will take questions here at the end, and we will certainly take lineup questions. But as we mentioned last week, we will absolutely prioritize interesting questions that are maybe just a little bit more than your average start sit. So that's what this thing here is all about. As I move my chair down, because I don't know what the hell happened there with my headroom. Our guy Thomas Tipple is here, but as we learned last week, Thomas, I've got great flexibility here. I can raise this desk up. I can raise my seat up. But yeah, I mean, is my shot looking like bad headroom here? Because I do have a bachelor's degree in communications, which is like going to college for watching television, radio, television, and film. And I'm big. I'm a stickler for a couple of things from that degree. Number one, when I say the letter W, it's not W, okay? It's W.
Right,
That's why I have a 4-year bachelor's degree to learn how to say and enunciate W. But the other one is headroom here. So okay.
I mean, I can sit up. I sat up, so now we're bang on even here at this point.
Okay.
So we are looking good and feeling good,
Lewis,
on this Wednesday.
Yeah. Do you get that reference? Looking good, feeling good, Lewis, or are you too
No,
young for
that one might be beyond me.
That is a Trading Places reference from when you were -9, I believe, when that movie came out. At the end of the movie, it's looking good, Billy Ray. And Eddie Murphy's like, feeling good, Lewis.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why
I know the movie, but I missed the reference.
It's a great movie. No, for the youngins out there who've never seen it, it is a tremendous movie. Set in Philadelphia, which I always loved because it's about stock market, and you would think, oh, it's New York, but actually it's Philadelphia. But no one cares about a 40-year-old movie. We're looking at week one. What the hell happened? Right here at the top, I'm going to kind of unpack. We offer some content in the first half of this little live stream. We're not just randomly just, hey, let's take your questions, because it can work, but oftentimes it doesn't. So content-wise, still unpacking week number one. It was not a good week for yours truly in terms of predictions, but I did think it was a very good week for my preseason calls. Certainly not all of them, but I absolutely feel really good about the preseason calls. But I feel really worried about handicapping this league on a week-to-week basis. Now, it's only 1 week, but I've had a really bad feeling about handicapping this stuff for fantasy for a number of months, because I just feel like there's a lot of situations that are still fluid. I'm not sure these coaches know what they have just yet. Like Liam Cohen, like he's still kind of getting to know these guys. So that's number one. We have more dudes involved than ever. We have crappier offenses the last couple of years. So I do think it's going to be a struggle bus on a week-to-week basis. And it was last week. But as I always say, again, it's going to be tough for all of us out there in fantasy land, but somebody's got to win your damn league. Might as well be us. So we're going to take our lumps here and there, I think, but we can still emerge victorious. All right. So here's, in no particular order, I probably went off the schedule. Here's what I'm seeing out there in terms of like the lessons I learned, things I got wrong for the most part. Let's start again, no particular order, but I'm always looking for that. Who is the quarterback pick of the year? Basically, I'm always looking for that. There was a couple years in a row where I kind of hit it, and it's so great to do that. I remember the year Matt Ryan won the MVP. I was like, that's my guy, Matt Ryan. Get Matt Ryan in every league, and he won the MVP. So you're looking for that. And right now, I would say after one game, I got 3 dudes who I think might, actually 4, who are already in the running for quarterback pick of the year. Now, look, Jaden Daniels going to be great. Lamar's going to be great, but you paid for them. So I'm talking ROI. I'm talking all that good stuff. So right now, I think we are between Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, J.J. McCarthy, and believe it or not, Danny Dimes. Those are the 4 guys that I think are right now in the running. Herbert, will he run like he did in week 1? That was the big question. Herbert is tough because I wasn't a huge Herbert guy coming out. And after 2 years, I felt, oh, screwed that up. But then, look, he's leveled off a little bit and he's not perfect. He looks perfect at times. So, I mean, I still think the jury's still out a little bit, but it's looking good with Justin Herbert right now. Again, we all know they're going to be running the rock and all that. And maybe Najee gets back and they have plenty of games where he doesn't get the volume and he doesn't really take off and it's a so-so game. But we shall see about that. Justin Fields, I mean, he looked tremendous. I can't believe how good it went for the Jets, quite frankly. And, not overreacting to one game, but also looking at the opponent. I mean, that was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's the top 5 defense. So Fields, got to give credit to the offensive coordinator, the new dude whose name escapes me right now, but he did a hell of a job scheming up this offense. And Fields did not look, I didn't study all 22, of course, but, he looked a lot more comfortable. He didn't look like a one-read quarterback. He is a gifted thrower of the football. He used his athletic ability in this game very well. Garrett Wilson, I did have Wilson and Fields on my target list, even though I was scared S-less. I also did pull Breece Hall off that list, by the way, and I regret that because, there were a couple of guys I bailed from that I'm glad I bailed, by the way. But for the most part, I bailed on like 3 or 4 dudes, and I'm regretting it. Breece Hall's one of them. And the other, by the way, was Jacoby Myers. I mean, it's not my fault. The damn trade stuff, Thomas. Like, I mean, that scared the crap out of me. I'm like, because me with vibes. I'm like, I can't do that. But, what's that, 4 years in a row now? Jacoby Myers is going to be looking at like a value. But, and then Danny Dimes, again, I know it's only one game and it was against a hapless defense. We will get a good test this week. It's a tough matchup. Who the hell is that? I remember looking at it like, oh, Denver, duh. I mean, it's a good litmus test here. I mean, Danny Dimes may crap the bed. I mean, that's who Danny Dimes is. But going forward, looking at the schedule, it's not bad at all. Again, everyone's starting to talk about this, but I wrote this all summer in my, the draft plan, whatever. I'm like, I know Danny Dimes he's Danny Dimes, but this is unbelievably great of a situation here. This is a better offensive line, a better running game, a better tailback, a better offense, better receiver, way better receiver. I mean, everything is better. So again, big litmus test here against Denver. It is in Indy, but we all have the numbers on the site, the scramble rate. Every year he's right at like Lamar, not Lamar maybe, but Jaden Daniels levels from last year, scrambling at 9+% of the time, right? So, Thomas, are you buying the Colts?
So we talked about this a lot last night on Dynasty Points, and I went on VSiN and I mentioned that people should be buying Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs just because the price was so low. And I think that is going to carry over throughout the year. This week, though, you get someone like Surtain, and I think that's going to make a massive difference to really figure out who is number one in the pecking order in Indy. But I know who's
number one. It's Tyler Warren. He's number one.
Yeah, the first read targets were pretty similar between he and Michael Pittman Jr. I believe they tied, and Michael Pittman Jr. had the higher design target rate. But we're going to see. I am concerned, though, for our guy Josh Downs.
Oh, for sure.
If Tyler Warren is going to be used in the slot. I believe it was 33%, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's
we're in
gonna
trouble.
cap his upside for sure. But I do like the buying of Pittman. The thing with these late round quarterbacks, and I do this in Superflex continuously, I am just constantly churning out late round guys. You got Brock Purdy in the 19th a couple years ago, Jordan Love when he fell all the way to the 17th, 18th in drafts, and lately it's been the Danny Dimes of the world. I'm just going to keep picking them up because it doesn't take much. I am also worried about my dark horse RB1 play and Jonathan Taylor being RB1 overall. If Danny Dimes is stealing the 1 yard touchdowns, but at the same time, if Danny Dimes is vulturing those 1 yard rushing touchdowns, we're looking at weekly QB1 potential here. Now, again, I do think we still see Anthony Richardson at some point this season, so we have to enjoy it while we can. But I
don't know about that one.
I'm buying it.
I think they may have their guy. Like Danny Dimes fits right in as a Colts quarterback. I mean, come on.
I know.
He's like Andrew Luck. I mean, they're like an all shucks kind of dude. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a beautiful marriage with Steichen, quite frankly.
I just know he did this one time and it screwed the Giants over, getting them to the playoffs. So there's always that cloud of like, we've seen this mirage of Daniel Jones over a 6 to 7 game period.
One thing we learned,
see it more to believe.
One thing I've learned, and I thought this, and it was only one game, week 1. Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll stink. They stink.
All right, that's fair.
So Shane Steichen he's not like Bill Walsh or anything, but he might be compared to Mike Kafka. I mean, Mike Kafka, what the hell has Mike Kafka done? I mean, I remember hearing over and over again, oh, Mike Kafka, he's the up-and-coming guy. I'm like, great, good for him. And you take a wait and see approach. I'm like, what? He's terrible. I'm sorry. I might be talking out my you-know-what, but not really, because we all have the gift of sight. We've seen that was horrible on week 1. I mean, I understand they don't have a lot to work with, but come on. I mean, that just looked too reminiscent of last year's shit show.
Right. And like the Dolphins were absolutely terrible. Like his pressure percentage was only 18.2%, but his pressure to sack was 16.7. So it's still some classic Daniel Jonesing out there.
Hey,
and then
no perfect.
And then, but I do love the 10.3% check down rate. Jonathan Taylor was catching passes before he sat out the entire fourth quarter because the game was a blowout. So
exactly.
I think there's a lot to love here. Someone in the chat just asked, Recton just asked, are we out on Josh Downs? Not out on him. I'm not cutting him. I'm not fading him. We just need I want to see a couple more weeks to see how this offense plays out, because if he stays, I believe it was a 53% route share.
That's
and his time in the slot was not, again, but this is also a blowout. So there are some factors here. I want to see a couple of weeks, see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But if I believe Tyler Warren was in the slot, I think 33% off the top of my head, then it's going to limit it. But I'm going to give it a couple weeks before I'm all the way out. But I'm in panic mode, to say the least, Guru.
Oh, I'm absolutely in panic mode. And look, we like Josh Downs. I like Josh Downs, but it's a dude you took around 100 overall. I'm not saying it's a throwaway pick. You took a shot. I don't think it's going to work. I know it's only one game. I don't think it's going to work. I have personally underrated Michael Pittman for 2 years in a row. I love Michael Pittman. I feel horrible. If people remember listening to me on the radio, I loved Pittman coming out. We had him on the show a couple of times. Great guy and all that. I've underrated him, but you wisely have not ignored him. And yeah, he's good. He's a very inviting target. He's good. He's a great dude, and he's a really good football player. So he's not going away. Warren's a huge factor. Danny Dimes, as you mentioned. By the way, he's going to vulture tutties. Yes. But what did he get Taylor in the passing game? 5 points? 6 points?
Yep.
In like 2.5 quarters, basically. So, I think we're looking good. I got pinched on a damn rushing prop because of the friggin' blowout. I mean, that's the worst. That is the worst. Anyway, let's move on. The Panthers, oh boy, I think they would like to take back those trades, basically, or the trade of Adam Thielen. That's my takeaway. They're bare. They're too bare right now. And again, it's not their fault totally, because they didn't know Jalen Coker was going to get hurt and go on IR. But let's pull it way back here, because they just don't simply have enough to work with there. Travis Hunter, as I move along, I mean, he came out and he was like Spider-Man out there early, like all over the place, got a bunch of looks, Mr. Horizontal route, kinda. He's going to get all those. He could be really good. He's going to get a lot of catches and targets, and he is a crazy athlete, but it's not a lock yet. And I'm still slightly leaning a little negative, man. He took a couple of hits. He's not a big dude. I mean, can he even hold up? Playing both sides, all that. But
he didn't really play both sides. Like he didn't really play both sides. He was
right.
And
he was out there though. I did see him out there.
He was for sure. If Trevor Lawrence wasn't god awful, we're looking at an 81 or 80-ish yard touchdown that Trevor Lawrence just underthrew. Now the pick was phenomenal. It was a one-handed, I believe it was Horn. It was an insane interception. But Trevor Lawrence missed, and I mean missed, Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Right now, the biggest detriment to Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. is still Trevor Lawrence. So Liam Cohen's got a ways to go, but it's not 100%. Like the Panthers defense are world beaters out there. So it's gonna be interesting.
That was very worrisome. That's kind of my point. I mean, I started talking about Travis Hunter. He might be really good. He got a lot of targets, all that, but they might just be annoying because they're spreading it around a little bit, and Lawrence isn't very good. Period. And end of the day, I did love Brian Thomas, obviously. So
he had 11 targets. He's got one reception because Trevor Lawrence is terrible.
Yeah. But I also did rank Brenton Strange freaking 60 places over his ADP because I just felt like he is going to be the easy layup target guy for Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good after the catch. Led them in receiving. Only four targets?
Four receptions on 4 targets for 59 yards, which is good, but he forced a missed tackle, and 4 of those were on the first read. That is what I like to see. No design plays, but I think you're right. I think he is a classic check down Charlie for Trevor.
I had him with I actually still do the projections. I had him with 68 grabs. So, I mean, we'll say that's a big number for Brenton Strange. Well, I addressed the Jets, so I'm horribly wrong about bailing on Breece Hall. I mean, unbelievable. He looks so unbelievably good. And it's another example of, should have stuck with your freaking offseason thought process, but they are the Jets. So, I am trying to avoid landmines here.
Well, Justin Fields has this thing where he starts off incredibly hot and does fizzle out. But the thing that he does do is run the ball. The thing that I could not get behind all offseason, and I'm not sure if this is ever going to come back to bite me, I will continue to fade Braylon Allen. I know the big fantasy industrial complex tried its hardest to get me to buy into Braylon Allen as a legitimate threat to Breece Hall. No, he, for such a big guy, he hasn't looked like a dominant running back since I think he was just 17-year-old freshman when the Devy community was really in on him. For such a big guy, he runs softer than Sharman. And I remember saying in every clip the Jets media posts, no one was near him. It was like the hole was wide enough that I could get a yard through. I could drive my truck through it, or he's turning the edge, not getting contacted. For such a big guy, he doesn't make people miss. People are like, well, he vultured the touchdown. I don't know if you realize this, Guru, but Braylon Allen didn't receive a single carry inside the Jets' 5-yard line. He got that carry on the 8, and the only reason he got that carry on the 8 is because Breece Hall had a 30-yard play they took him out on. Breece Hall started every single drive. This wasn't even a Kyron getting subbed out for Blake Corum every third drive. It was all Breece Hall. This Braylon Allen thing, I think, is just going to continue to be overblown until he proves that he can actually be a dominant physical runner. I just don't think he is. No,
that's not happening. I thought he was a threat, but it's not like I'm like, oh, draft Braylon Allen. No, I wasn't saying that at all.
I couldn't do it.
Let's move on here. And real quick, I don't have a lot of insight here because I honestly did not watch a lot of that game, and I probably won't, to be fully honest. But I'll confer with our play charters and all that. But I'm still not sure about Bo Nix. I'm just not sure about Bo Nix, basically. Like, he definitely surprised me last year, and my general thought process was, I'm still not sure, but I got to give it up to him, and you got to give it up to Sean Payton. Felt like, okay, he's probably learning NFL defense a little bit more in the offseason going into year 2, and he will get better. I saw a lot of Drew Brees in him, quite frankly. There was a time when was one year I loved Drew Brees. I was like, Drew Brees. He was my guy. He was absolutely awful. I got 30, 40 emails. Yeah, your boy Drew Brees. What a bum. I'm like, oh, you mean the Hall of Famer? But he was bad. So it did take him a little while. But it just doesn't seem like we have those 2, 3, 4-year developmental projects anymore. Brees took years before he turned into Drew. I don't think these guys have that kind of a margin for error anymore. So anyways, I'm still not sure about Bo Nix.
Let me give you something on Bo Nix here, because I'm a Bo Nix guy.
Okay.
Last year, he started against Seattle, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and then the Jets, and it was not looking good. He had a 19 in 4-point passing leagues. He had a 19-point game versus Tampa Bay, more because he rushed for a touchdown, but it was 11 points, 8 points, 6 points. And then from Vegas on, 23, 2014, 37. He turned it around after a couple games. Bo Nix, to me, feels like a guy, if you watched him, he was doing some weird arm angle things. He looked amped up. He didn't look settled in. I'm wondering if he's just the type of guy that needs to relax just a little bit. And it might take him a couple weeks every season until he becomes an established veteran. And also, I think Sean Payton called a atrocious game. I don't think Sean Payton did anything to help him either, but
some of these offensive play callers and all that did not do a very good job in week 1. Like even my Vikings, I mean, McCarthy was brutal for 2-3 quarters, and I don't think they helped him out at all. Like, there was nothing easy. They did nothing to make things easier for McCarthy for 2-3 quarters.
I know. It's absolutely insane. I will also say this. I talked about this last night on Dynasty Points. My biggest takeaway from week 1 is that the offensive lines throughout the NFL were god awful.
Yeah.
There was almost no good blocking. Like Bo Nix's pressure rate was 32.6%. Now, he was not great under pressure last year from what I remember to begin with, but his pressure to sack was 7.1%. He is mobile. The rushing will come. So there is some stuff. His adjusted completion percentage was 72.2%, but they got to get off the first read with him. I mean, 60% on the first read.
Not a great receiving core, though. I mean, Evan Ingram, if Evan Ingram is a bust, not that I was in on Evan Ingram, but I mean, if he doesn't get it done, what do we got here other than Cortland Sutton?
Exactly.
Man, that's a problem. Move on here. I'm going to move on, Thomas, because we're already talking we could do a 4-hour show here. The Niners, man, like they're not going to make it.
It's over.
Let's sing it to Twisted Sister. They're not going to make it.
Over.
They're not going to make it. I mean, it's week freaking 1. You see Trent Williams giving up all the pressures and
worst game of his career.
Worst game of his career, grade wise. Obviously, Purdy already hurt. Juwan Jennings. I mean,
Kittle on IR.
I mean, I don't know. McCaffrey's not making it, guys. Like, it's just not. So I would in fact trade him.
Yeah, I'm with you in redraft. I would be looking to move off of Christian McCaffrey as well. I mean, they are going to use and abuse him without a doubt.
Sure.
But at the same time, if they go on some sort of losing streak, they want to keep them going for next season. I like we could see a lower usage as the season goes on if this team really is this hurt and can't hold it together. So I am full on panicking on the 49ers, and that secondary did not look great against JSN and Darnold. They tore them apart.
I did opt to keep Kittle and Jennings off my list. Ricky Pearsall was literally my number 1 player on my Hansen's what the hell is it called? Draft plan. Duh. I got so many different things here. I mean, Ricky looked great.
He did.
You know, he should have scored, I think, on that end zone throw on the right side that the ball got knocked out of Ricky's hands at the last second. I think if Purdy threw it a second earlier, it's a tutty to Ricky. But again, I don't even know if Ricky can hold up with all this. I thank God Mac Jones is there because he's capable, as we saw last year with Brian Thomas. I said that at the time. I'm like, I know I'm a little bit of a Mac Jones apologist over here, but he's not bad. And that'll be the case. I think we all know that Shanahan wanted to get Mac Jones. Honestly, he'd probably still be the starter if that happened. And they'd probably be better off right now. Obviously, the Trey Lance trade screwed them. Speaking of screwed, I know, again, only one game, but I think the Lions are screwed. I
really?
Yes, I totally could be wrong. I worry about their O-line. I feel like Taylor Decker is getting old, hanging on by a thread. I mean, we Goff is getting up there. I mean, we're really moving the needle in 2025 with Goff with a lessened running game. I just don't feel warm and fuzzy about it. They got a nasty schedule too.
I will say this: I again was battling the big fantasy industrial complex on this Jameson Williams wide receiver 1 type thing. Are even the Lions offense getting better? We're talking about, like, I believe they were the 3rd or 4th highest scoring offense in NFL history last year in terms of touchdowns. They were basically the Peyton Manning Broncos. I just don't see that continuously getting better. Do you want to hear a fun stat? Now, I'm not a QB wins guy, but I have a fun stat about Jared Goff that has been floating around social media.
I did like J-Mo this summer, and I am a little worried already. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, not Jameson Williams wide receiver 1. Like that is.
That was a thing. Okay,
it's that he was going to be a wide receiver 1 this year, and he'll outscore Amon-Ra, and I just don't see that happening personally. I've been against that all offseason. But one of my favorite things, the stat that's been going around, is Jared Goff has had 5 different play callers in his career. Under the 3 not named Sean McVay and Ben Johnson, he is 0-19-1.
I mean, look, sometimes the obvious answer is the deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that is just fun. I don't think they're going to stay this bad,
right?
But they got roughed up. They got beat up. So
they're not winning the division. They're not winning the division. That's over. Unless there's a cataclysmic situation with the Packers or Vikings. The Lions are not winning the division.
Okay, I like that call, Guru. I like that. I'm going to write that one down. That one's going in our list.
I mean, I picked the Vikings to win the division. The Texans, they're also in trouble.
Awful.
O-line, no running game to speak of, even though Chubb brought it. I will say I saw some flashes there with Jaden Higgins. I'm like, they need that guy. So I added him to the waiver wire. He was also on my target list. I guess we don't want to bore people with any more J.J. McCarthy propaganda, but I understand it was brutal, but dude's on pace for 51 tutties. How about 35 for J.J. McCarthy this year?
I like it.
35.
I like it.
I think it's happening. Caleb Williams is not happening. I think Caleb Williams is not him. And I think the Bears players are going to be pretty unreliable. Maybe they turn a corner with Ben Johnson. It could also unravel fully. I don't have a good vibe at all on Caleb Williams at all. JSN, hey, he was one of the 12, baby. Not a lot of people talked about JSN. I actually wasn't into JSN coming out of college, but this year I was in. He was a big part of the draft plan, and man, he looks like a league winner, Thomas. He really does.
Yeah, so I get a lot of insane DMs from Seahawks fans because one of my most viral tweets was me making fun of JSN's 3 for 25 stat line. I called it the Applebee's special.
Oh yeah.
I get a lot of hate still with that. People haven't realized that I've had like a year and a half of content created since then, and I've been the highest of the dynasty points team, whether it's Ryan Heath, Andy Buckler, Jacob Sanderson, or Lucas Gilbert, the highest on JSN since we've kind of crossed that path. I believe he had like 80% or 75% of the team's like total off it. Like it is all JSN all the time. Sam Darnold looks like he only has eyes for him. And again, it was the 2 minute, right? They were driving down the field and there was a hilarious sequence of plays with JSN. I'm not sure how much of the game you watched, but there was like a back-to-back where he caught a screen, fumble. Then there was a deep drop. Then there was a screen for a loss of 8 yards. Then he caught it and threw it backwards out of bounds. And it was like one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. But the important thing with this is it's all JSN. And down the field, we're looking at He had that rookie cornerback in San Francisco doing circles. There was a play where he did a fake block. He ran up the field. As soon as the DB turned his hips, he pivoted back out. It was a phenomenal route. It looks like it's all JSN all the time, which I love. But I think, again, we have a Darnold problem, I think. Really? And I think we have a Darnold problem again because the end zone touches, I don't know, are going to be there for someone like JSN. He kind of has to create that on his own. Yeah, I think he can. I think JSN's a top 5 wide receiver this year if this holds up.
Yeah, I just think that Sam Darnold, I remember watching him discuss JSN, like off-season workout deal. It may have been right early training camp where I'm like, damn, my boy is enamored with JSN. Like he's just, superior athlete. Mm-hmm. And, his change of direction, stop, start, all that stuff, the shiftiness. I was just watching Sam Darnold talking about him. I'm like, man, he's feeding this dude. Like, this is his guy. So, yeah, that's why JSN was one of the 12, basically.
I have one more note on this. Their pass rate over expected was 2.92% with Sam Darnold, and immediately head coach threw his offensive coordinator under the bus saying they didn't run it enough and didn't use enough play action. So, I mean, that's also a little bit of a concern. I feel like this is just his new thing. I think Jacob said this last night too. He just hires a new offensive coordinator every year to just throw him under the bus to not running the ball enough, as if he doesn't run the football team. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I don't think they want to live at that high of a pass rate. So we're going to see what ends up happening. But I'm fully believing that JSN can not only be a top 5, he could kind of be the league leader in receiving yards if this holds up. Again, don't think it will, but that's the type of upside we're looking for. You should be buying in completely. He is easily a top 7 dynasty wide receiver for me, and he's top 5 rest of season.
I think if there's one thing in that draft plan this summer that I had on the site, in terms of like strategy, picking early one, like probably the most valuable thing I did was, go chase Jefferson, come back, get, like, let's say Jefferson, come back, get Chase Brown, get that one RB1, and then JSN at the top of 3. Like I did that over and over and over and over again. Oh boy, that could be money right there. Because Chase Brown, speaking of volume, by the way.
And what an impressive touchdown at the goal line. He kind of got hit behind the line. Went behind the line, cut back. It looked phenomenal.
It looked unbelievable. Then I tweeted that he was going to break leagues, and then he averaged like 1 yard a carry after.
Yeah, thanks, Cincinnati. Guru, we're 33 minutes in.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else off the list you want to hit quick before we get into some questions?
The article is up for Fantasy Point subscribers, the players to trade and trade for. It wasn't a great week for it. Obviously, it's week 1. We're trying not to overreact, but I'll just roll through some of the names here. I did put Drake May on there. I know it wasn't a great showing, but let's give him a break a little bit because of the first game with Josh McDaniels. But if we're not running with design runs in their next 1 to 2 games, then I'm panicking. But I do think it's a little bit of an opportunity. The schedule looks pretty good. I think their receiving core is not bad, actually. I mean, we all know they need juice, but I like Kayshon Boutte. Good vibe on Kayshon Boutte, man. I interviewed him at the Combine. I was like, you know what? I kind of like this guy. And he's just steadily gotten better and better and better. And then, Kyle Williams will likely contribute down the stretch. Ashton Genty, I understood that, look, first drive, I'm like, oh my God, he looks great. But he got 21 of 24 backfield touches. So there will be better days there. The schedule's not bad. Amarian Hampton wasn't a wonderful showing there. I'm not really concerned. I think we've got some pretty good matchups. Tony Pollard, I think if, 19 of 21 running back opportunities was pretty incredible. It was a bad matchup. His value could be a lot higher after week 1 than it is. So I like the O-line to continue to grow. I'm in on Quinshon Judkins as a thing.
Yes, I agree. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for even mentioning Jerome Ford this on Final Points. He is dead to me, respectfully. He's one of the worst players I've ever seen play football.
He's dead.
He's done. And if you if you don't think Judkins is going to come in here and make him obsolete and get every single touch that isn't a pass rep. I mean, Sampson looked good too, but he looked even better on the pass. Judkins is coming in to smash.
Yeah, and I think that, look, it's pretty obvious. Like, they took Judkins at 36 overall. They took Sampson like 90 picks later. They're two young running backs. It's a young man's position. They're not going anywhere anyway. So just give them all the touches. That's it. Sampson, third down back. I think Judkins can do it too, by the way. You use Sampson as your receiving back, your change up, and Judkins is your lead back. That's what I think they should do. And if they do, then, Judkins will have some value. How about Malik Neighbors? I mean, we got to go to Jackson Dart. We just have to.
Yes.
We'll get Andrew Thomas back. I mean, Andrew Thomas is the most freaking valuable left tackle in football. It's like when he's not out there, his team stinks. I like George Pickens as a little bit of a buy low. We all thought he'd be, with Quinyon Mitchell a lot, which he was. Calvin Ridley, we knew he was going to be Calvin Diddley. I thought Cam Ward showed enough in a really bad matchup, but I know it wasn't a great showing for him, but there will be better days there. Skinny Batman, Devontae Smith, I wrote, look, I mean, they're going to have to throw it more than it did last week and last year. I mean, we've got the Chiefs, Rams, and Bucks coming up now. They're going to have to throw the damn ball. You also got Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, the Chargers. I mean, they got some matchups here where they're going to have to throw the damn ball. Hawkinson, I mean, sorry for last week, but I think we saw enough magic from J.J. McCarthy to feel, good about Hawkins' ability to grow as they just get going. Can we get a game where we have an effective offense for 4 quarters or 3? Not 1 as we did on Monday night, but I'm still in on Hawkinson as a guy that is going to look do well. Players to trade: McCaffrey, Devon Achane. Again, when you're trading low, you don't want to just sell the farm.
Well, at least it's not selling low on Achane because he got that score. So a lot of people are just box score watching and don't realize how much of a garbage time touchdown that is. But
exactly, yeah, understood.
You're not selling low on Achane for sure.
Right. I mean, this new Tyreek Hill thing. I don't know. I mean, the vibes are just cataclysmic here.
We can predict Tyreek Hill as a Kansas City Chief by week 6, I think.
Yeah, or somewhere else. ETN could be wrong here. It is a contract year. He did look good.
All the way up.
I'd sell. What do
really?
You think? Yeah, I'm
buying. You're
buying. Okay.
I'm buying. LaQuinn Allen is the most picked up player in all of my dynasty leagues, and Tootin not only was the third back used, he's third in touches, I believe, but LaQuinn Allen was getting those reps that we thought Tootin was going to be. Listen to how Liam Cohen talks about ETN. He loves him. I posted this in the fantasy points projections chat. I can see a James Conner-esque or Chuba Hubbard-esque extension for Travis Etienne by week 5 or 6. Wow. Now, I liked Tootin as much as the next guy, believe me. And I know that Etienne comes out strong often, but the signal for Tank getting traded to me wasn't for Tootin, it was for Etienne. Yeah. LaQuinn Allen was getting those reps, and man, there's at least a small chance that Tootin just gets Blake Corum'd in this offense if they really do love Etienne. I'm going to be waiting for Coach Speak Index for more Liam Cohen pressers to see if there's more about Etienne, but I'm expecting in this matchup this week, he gets more pass game work on top of that. And if that is the case, I am full-blown concerned. In a dynasty league, I traded a 26-second Ray Davis and a 27-third for Etienne, which is pretty much his whole price in the offseason was a second. I'm more inclined to buy than I am to sell, but I'm also not panic selling Tootin. But my must-trade for player right now, Guru, is LaQuinn Allen.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, he's a great receiver.
Exactly.
And he's a great dude. As I've mentioned, I met him at the Senior Bowl. Amazing guy. Really nice guy. Love the guy.
Yeah, he should be stashed on every single deep redraft league. He should be picked up in every single league. And I think you should be trying to trade a fake, I call them fake players, a Jacob Cowing, and a fourth, whatever you can move at a cheap cost. I wouldn't even necessarily be moving a straight up third, but I would try to negotiate a fake player, someone that someone loves, that a Christian Watson who just signed a contract, which I don't even want to talk about the Packers wide receivers because what a disaster. But LaQuinn Allen needs to be on every single roster. If you like Tootin, you should also be equally able to look objectively at that backfield and how it played out and react accordingly, which would be pick up LaQuinn Allen as well.
I want to see where I ranked ETN. And by the way, I probably screwed this one up here. Where the hell did I rank? I can't even find them. That's
to be fair, the whole company was toot for Tootin. The problem is, as my co-host Andy Buckler.
I actually ranked ETN at his ADP. Believe it or not,
there we go.
I wasn't particularly down on him. ADP at 92.4. I had him at 93. All right,
that's right.
Not terrible.
My co-host on Dynasty Points Market Report, Andy Buckler, always says it's always toot until you have to trade, and no one is actively trading for Tootin even after this. The people that have him are holding him. LaQuinn Allen is the guy that's getting moved more than Tootin across every single crowdsourcing site that I have seen. So Allen to me is the must-add.
Well, and again, my take, I guess, is somewhat controversial. We are looking to turn a profit, basically, and ETN's value is soared. I'm leaning a little bit on, it's always a little bit of a gray area when you have a new coach because you just don't know. He inherited ETN, but maybe he loves him. Drafted Tootin, maybe he's a little underwhelmed by Tootin. We just don't know. But I'm leaning on his body of work, which is not great. ETN. I don't think he's a great runner. I don't think he's a great receiver. Part of my thought process is, I think your boy LaQuinn Allen can cap his upside.
Yep.
And if he starts wearing down and being less effective as he does every year, then they should start rotating Tootin and giving him more opportunity. So this is why we love this stuff. We're trying to predict the future, but I just think in terms of business practices, it's not a bad thought, leaning on a body of work and a lot of unknowns. Right. He may do well, but obviously you're not trading him away for anything either. Like now his value is spiking. You got to, get something in return. All right. We'll try and go rapid fire here for the next 15 minutes, and I can answer any question, Thomas, that you have queued up here.
That's right. So first off, Paulie hit us with a super chat early. He said, here's $5 coffee for Brock.
Coffee.
As we know that Brock is the hardest working man in the company. The man is a machine. Rob Milner says $2. Would you be aggressive trading Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt for Ken Walker? No, I want out of the Ken Walker business. I'm not looking to buy in. Yeah, that is one of those backfield splits that we should be concerned about. It is nightmare fuel for me.
There was a lot of confusing signals about that, how that would all roll. I actually went in on Charbonnet as a pick, standalone pick around round 9. I thought he looked unbelievable in the second preseason game. And, I've always been a little bit of a Ken Walker hater. So I that's what I went. I kind of feel like I got maybe lucky because I honestly wasn't sure. All I knew is that Zach Charbonnet looked great. The O-line looks better than ever. They're going to run the rock, and Ken Walker is a freaking pain in the ass, basically. So I went with it. So 1 week it looks good, but so I might, if I was looking to swing for the fences there. You actually think JCM has more upside if things go well for both players? Do you think JCM has more upside than Walker?
I like the offense a little bit more, and they love him.
Yeah, they definitely do.
And he
that.
looks explosive. He
does.
He looks insanely explosive. He got some goal line work. I mean, I think the upside is there, and he does not have a Chris Rodriguez problem. Everyone thought that would be the case. He was inactive.
That is true.
So I think when you have such a strong media presence for a player, especially a young player, they love him. They trade the reliable vet to make the room. Then they kind of gaslight saying like, no, don't worry. We have some rules in place. And then by week 1, that completely shifts. Right. And on a limited touch basis, he was one of the most explosive running backs in the league. I think he was one of the highest graded by the site that shall not be named as well. I believe he was 1 or 2. So I mean, all the signs are positive for JCM. I like to go after the rookie. I think we've seen enough from Ken Walker, in my opinion, in this offense to know that I think Charbonnet is coming for that job. He was more effective. He looked better. The offense stalled when there's a lot of factors in week 1.
What
but
a pain in the butt is Ken Walker. What
exactly.
a pain in the ass. And that's why, I've been a hater, because it's like, you pop in one game, you're like, this guy is a world beater. And then you pop in another one, and you're like, this guy stinks. He's always looking for the big play, and he gets stonewalled,
right.
And the injuries. What else do we have?
Okay. We have, I'm looking for a really good one. We have again, a lot of start sit here, folks. I'm trying to avoid those. Yeah. Obviously, but if your questions aren't answered here, I will be sitting here answering them in the comments if you ask them. Our friend Matthew Bubar, should I be freaking out about Brian Thomas Jr. because of how bad Trevor Lawrence looked?
It's not great. I thought Trevor Lawrence could at the very least maintain a level of play that McCorkle Jones had last year for those Jags. I do think we need to pull back from our expectations just a tad. I don't think he's going to be a league wrecker like I thought freaking 4 days ago. So I'd probably pull him down to like wide receiver 12. Just consider him a low end 1.
Right.
He's still 1, but
yeah.
I had him, I think, at wide receiver 4 or 5. I think it was 5.
Right.
He's not hitting that. I hate to say it. I don't think he is. I mean, granted, should have scored a big play. We might not. I mean, he did score, but I'm worried, so I'd say 5 days ago, I thought he would be a top 7 guy. Now I'm like, maybe he'll be a top 12.
So we're at like a DEFCON 4. Like we're not all the way there, but we're another bad week, and we might be. I'm kind of feeling the same way. Kevin Dole says, "Good morning."
Good morning.
Drop Fields. I have Love and JJ McCarthy. Are you doing one for Fields? Now I know we might disagree on this one, but
I mean, that's a really difficult decision, because I think now Love was a little off. I know, like, ball location was the tick off perhaps in the game, but dudes, he put it to where these dudes could catch it basically. And overall, I felt very good watching Love and the Packers. Very efficient, really good, but the problem is they're too good. Now the defense is going to be really good, and their running game's good. It's just too good. So they're not going to be in a lot of shootouts, probably. They're going to run the ball. So the upside is not that great for Love. But, like even to this week, I think he's going to have a good game. I think this is a high total, 48, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be really good. I think Love's going to be really good. I think he's going to be exactly as I thought. He'll be like QB 10. Just don't know if he's going to be a needle mover. And that is interesting, because I feel Fields, would you believe, Thomas, by the way, I think I've told you this. I'm in an FFPC league where 2 years ago I lost the championship by 4 points. Very close. Last year, just terrible. I think I may have backed into the playoffs. I can't even remember. But this year, and I have the worst quarterback room in the whole 12-team league.
I do remember this.
Guess how many points I got from my QBs in the Superflex? 60 with Fields and Danny Dimes. I mean, come on.
I'm dropping Jordan Love for any scrambler like
That's fair.
Justin
That's fair.
Fields.
Totally fair.
I think if you have somebody like Love and McCarthy, I think they're similar enough. But again, Love doesn't run like at all. So I think Justin Fields. Yeah. Again, I'm a Fields doubter, and I think, but on a week-to-week basis, he can give you Lamar light production on any given week, and that's the kind of upside that I love.
I do love how he got, though, McCarthy and Love, because that was like my number one combo. Like, every time in the draft plan article, I'm like, yeah, I'm holding off again. Sorry. And I'm taking Love and McCarthy. I think it's only one game, but my preseason prediction that those two combined for 60 touchdowns, we're in.
We're looking good.
We're looking good if we don't get an injury.
That's right. We have another super chat here, which is always appreciated if you want your questions bumped up kind of to the top here. He says, what are your thoughts on James Cook after week 1?
I liked it. I played more than, I didn't list him as a target actually, but I did give him love in the draft plan article. I took him a couple of times, and there were a couple of spots where I'm like, I'm going to take, may have been Henderson here. And I would put, if he's gone, James Cook's a good alternative. So I was kind of in on Cook, but not all in, but definitely not out. And I'm pretty sure I ranked him over his ADP. So I feel really good. James Cook is good. Like, what else have we seen? Like, I remember saying that because I was around him at the combine, and I could not believe how much he reminded me of Dalvin, because I interviewed Dalvin and James, and I'm like, this is like the same guy. Like, we all know they're related, but I'm like, yeah, he's going to be good. Because how do I know? Because we've already seen it with his brother. Now, different players a little bit, but, man, James Cook has got that DNA to avoid injury. Low key now.
Right.
Like, when does he get hurt? I mean, he's got good DNA for that, and more involved in the passing game. Yeah, I feel good about James Cook. You're looking good.
I will say that I'm annoyed again at how much of the other backs played. Like that, it's still very annoying, but it looks like the touchdown thing is real. It looks like they're going to give it to him on the goal line. He could have had another one, but the Ravens defense kind of showed up.
I mean, Ty Johnson only got 4 targets.
I know. He's just on the field more than I want to see him. And same with Ray Davis. Like it is just a little bit annoying for me, but I do love our boy. I call him Captain Jim Cook, and he is explosive. He can catch the ball. I think he's a locked in RB1 with this offense, but also remember they ran an insane amount of plays. I believe they ran 83 or 85 plays. Sure. They're not going to be down multiple touchdowns and in comeback mode versus a play it soft defense like we saw often, but that's also better for him if Allen's not chucking that ball that much. So I love what we saw from James Cook as well. J Prog drops the $1 dono as well, and I did just have his question. He said, Love or JJ, 1 point every 50 yards passing, 6-point touchdowns, and Hawk got dropped. Pick him up and drop Strange to back up McBride.
I would, because Strange will probably catch more balls and might even get more yards. I don't know how many touchdowns he gets, and I think Hawkinson's obviously in a better offense. They're only going to get better, whereas I mean, the Jags could get worse because Trevor Lawrence isn't good. Like JJ obviously is one friggin' game, so we're ascending. I don't know what we're doing with Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, I would drop Hawk. Now I guess this is for this week, huh?
I'm assuming that's this week, yeah, and even season long.
Yeah, I would go Love. I think I'm going Love over JJ this week.
Okay, interesting. I'm not.
Who do we have ranked? I think we have Love ranked higher on the site. You're not? You're going JJ?
I'm going to go JJ. I believe the second half is actually what we're going to see out of JJ. There was a moment.
Yeah.
Jacob talked about this yesterday where if you watch the pick 6 and JJ McCarthy coming off the field, there was he met JJ McCarthy off the field, smiling, almost laughing, arms wide open, dapped him up in support. I think they love this guy.
I mean, this kid, I'm telling you, this is what I've been saying for a long time. And if you've listened on Sirius, you probably know this because, I mean, they needed a transcendent dude. I literally accosted their GM at the combine 2 years in a row and gave him my unsolicited advice. I'm like, dude, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, dude, we're never going over the top unless we get a transcendent winner. And boom, JJ McCarthy is, I mean, he's almost too transcendent. I mean, already it's almost too good how the vibes on JJ. But
I'm glad you stay off Twitter, because I could have swore he died on the field after that first half and into the third, the way people were talking about him. But by the fourth, they were all the way back. So
I have never, real quick, ever in my 30-year career had a player / take have such extremes in one game. Never. In 30 years have I had a game and a player, because I really put myself out there on JJ McCarthy this year. I really set myself up to fail. I picked the Vikings to win the Super Bowl. I said he was my number one quarterback target, blah, blah, blah. I said he's this and that. I mean, at halftime, it was like, this is really, really, really bad. I can't, this is the worst I could possibly imagine. And then the fourth quarter was the best that I could possibly imagine. So, I've never seen anything like it, but arrow pointing upward on that. What else we have?
Thoughts on the Cleveland tight end battle, if you consider it a battle. But I think the battle is won.
I guess so. Yeah. I didn't give Fannin, any love, but I will say this. I didn't give Njoku much either. I had no interest in Njoku because of Fannin. I wasn't sure if Fannin was going to do that. I couldn't believe it. He was everywhere. It is amazing. So
lined up
Njoku, he's done. I think he's kind of done. When you look at the totality of the whole year, he's going to have some good games, but if we're looking over the next 3 months in terms of production, reliability, confidence level, I don't think we'll be happy with Njoku. Now, that said, I don't know if we're going to be happy with Fannin either.
Well, he had a 2.17 yards per route run, which led the team. And he had a 7 yard per target. He lined up everywhere. They had him playing the old H-back, the old Chris Cooley role in that offense. He was their slot receiver for a lot of that game.
Yeah.
It really was impressive, but not just that. He was inline 44.8%. He was out there in single tight end sets blocking.
It's like a 7-year veteran out there.
Exactly. And he deserved everything that he got. A 41.4% slot rate. I'll tell you this, the only receiver, and he barely ran the route complement that everyone else did, the only receiver to line up more in the slot for the Browns than Harold Fannin was Jamari Thrash.
Wow.
More than Jerry Jeudy, more than Tillman. So I don't think this is a battle. I think this is a battle that's already been won. And then I do want to give some love to a player that I mentioned last week, just because he has been insanely good. Tillman once again outperforms Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
When healthy, since that trade, 9.6 targets per game, 5.8 receptions, 70 receiving yards at a 14.8 fantasy points per game since the Amari Cooper trade. How that compares to Jerry Jeudy is a 4.8 catches, 8.8 targets, 75 yards, 75.5 yards per game, and 13.5 points per game. And that is with a Jamar Chase level production run when Tillman was out at the end of last year. I think Tillman is someone in redraft for as long as Flacco is available that needs to be stashed on your team. I think he's unreal.
I've interviewed him. He's a great guy. As I've mentioned a million times, father played in the NFL. You could tell he's kind of like an old soul guy. He's not a guy who's like who's out at the club, hanging out. I could see Flacco being very into that guy.
Yeah, at 6'3", 215, he's a big target, and he moves. He can really move.
Yeah. Plus, I understand Flacco loves slot and all that, but Flacco is also an old school, prototypical, big, strong-armed quarterback. So you have that big X receiver in Tillman. I think that is a good marriage. That is a good combo. Yeah, he's good. Tillman's good. What else we have?
We got news while we were live that Judkins is meeting with the NFL in New York for a possible suspension. I could see a 2 to 3 gamer if the NFL wants to interject, but again, this is a no charges issued, nothing. This isn't a matter of he settled or he broke any league policy. He technically didn't. So I don't know if he'll get suspended. They might interject and give him 2 games just to Remember it was a couple weeks ago I said to you that sometimes it's hard to predict when the NFL is going to care about something.
Yeah.
They'll let something slide, but then for no reason they'll make a stink about someone spitting, but yet they won't care if somebody beats their kid for 4 weeks. Like we don't know what they're going to care about and when. They might with all the Rashee Rice stuff and all the new, he might be the last kind of poster child for a two-game suspension here. But again, I think it's going to take him a couple weeks to ramp up anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. He still must add, but we could be getting suspension news as early as today, if not tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. We're looking
at Judkins. We're looking at November and December. That's what we're looking at.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Big body, rugged. I really like Judkins. Again, I'm no film expert, but I've been doing this for 30 years. I do have my eyeball test is pretty good, and I really liked him. I mean, he passed my eyeball test big time. I'm like, this guy could be a stud. I saw a little Marshawn Lynch here, actually.
I agree. We were. Again, I'll keep hyping my show. Dynasty Points, both of them, Dynasty Points and Dynasty Points Market Report. My co-host Andy Buckler had him ranked ahead of Trevion, and then Graham Barfield ended up getting there as well with the yards created and yourself as well.
I ranked him over Hampton.
Yeah, that one's a no for me. But after week 1, who knows? But this is exactly what I mean, though. Cocky Kane says, "How can Judkins be suspended? He wasn't under contract yet. Charges dismissed after 3 plays." I totally get that. I understand he shouldn't get suspended. But again, the NFL just chooses to interject sometimes in some weird, in some weird ways and for no reason. I never try to predict the NFL's thought process on suspensions because it's a fruitless endeavor, if you ask my opinion.
That reminds me real quick of the whole Judkins thing, what that person said, of a very quick story, a little personal story. When I was 18, I got pulled over for speeding. They searched me and my passenger. My passenger had some illegal substance on him, some marijuana. So I got arrested because it was in my car. That was their point. So I'm like, this is BS. I literally went to the court and I pled, I disputed it. I was 18 years old. And long story is I don't even know how I did this, but the cop who was literally on the stand, and I acted like my own attorney. And I said, I just have a question. I know what it was. Somebody the person next to me admitted it was they had weed or I don't know, something like that. They said something like I have weed or whatever. I don't know. But so I got the cop on the stand. I said, okay, so you pulled us over and when did he tell you that it was his marijuana? And he's like, right when we were doing this and that. I said, okay. And then you read me my rights, and they were like, yeah. And I'm like, well, isn't it, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be from this point on. And it's a little more complicated than this. I think what it was is they were charging both of us is what it was. They were charging 2 people with the same crime. And so a long story, I asked the cop, I'm like, well, isn't it from that point on? They were like, yeah. So whatever I said or he said from before that, you can't use that. You're charging 2 people with the same crime, and the judge was like, yeah, you're right. And then he was like, yeah, you're good. Discharged.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's no telling what's going to stick and what's not. I would just say don't try to. That's my best look at it. Whether it's fantasy football or not, really, it is tough. Let's end on one. Drop Mooney for Tillman. I am, but
yeah, it's a tough call.
You risk Flacco not playing though, and that's the problem. I think Gabriel sucks. I think Shedeur sucks. I think they'll both play at some point this year, which limits you for Tillman.
I'm going Mooney.
That's fair.
Penix looked pretty good. Like,
Penix looked great.
We're always going to have those little, it's almost like Love a little bit. Like there's going to be some ball location stuff. And certainly, he is a little inconsistent, but two things I saw. Number one, arm strength, man, there are no limitations, and that's a big advantage. And then number two is sneaky athletics. So, he might actually be a little bit of a, dare I say, a fantasy cheat code guy, but thinking about the lack of depth of receiver and thinking about, how Penix looked good, acquitted himself well, and knowing that Mooney is a downfield wizard, not that we see that because of the weak quarterback play. Long story short, I think we might see some big time plays to Mooney once he's back.
Actually, yeah, I'm also thinking that London is dealing with that injury too. So when he comes, I think you're right. I think I'm sticking with Mooney. You swayed me.
Okay. And by the way, that story, luckily, if I had one more legal thing happen to me at that time, I may have gone to law school and become a lawyer because I literally was going to be a lawyer. I was thinking about, I can do this, like put the cop on the stand. I'm 18 years old, but I guess luckily I didn't do that.
All right, let's end it with Recton Gates. Thoughts on Wrecking Ball Scatterboo?
Look,
it was the Tyrone Tracy show, Guru.
I know Tyrone Tracy's your guy, but I just think, like, what are we doing with Tyrone Tracy? I think they need Scatterboo to be a factor. Like, they brought him in for the size, the power, the receiving chops, short yardage. Like, I think they absolutely need to work Scatterboo in and make this a dual backfield where they have somewhat similar skill sets, but like, can we diversify and utilize these guys a little bit? Because the offense is not good. So they got to get some production out of the backfield. And I just don't think Tracy on his own is capable of really doing it.
I think this backfield is dead until Russ Wilson's not the quarterback. I will say this, though. Scatterboo got 2 attempts in this game, and he had 100% of the carries inside the 5. He had a 100% stuff rate. So if we're thinking he is the big back, the big bad, if you would, he's got to learn to break those. No missed tackles, forced, 1 yard after contact.
It feels like he's got to do it in the passing game, quite frankly.
Right. But
it feels like he's got like a check down guy and all that. And
but that's one thing. Like, that Singletary was still in the field for some of those reps. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be a slow burn with him. I'm not judging Scatterboo or this backfield, except for Tyrone Tracy's probably going to be their guy. I believe he had 75% of the snaps, and he was up there as one of the highest in weighted opportunities, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of total backfields.
Sure.
But I'm not properly judging this backfield until we see Jackson Dart. When Jackson Dart comes in, because we know this offense is going to look different. We know it's going to be built different. Don't drop. Don't panic. Don't get rid of. I'm not buying per se, but I'm not dropping out of panic either. This offense is going to look different in a couple of weeks. And the media is already asking for it. So
I actually did list Tracy as a sell.
Okay.
That could be
fair.
wrong.
That's fair.
Just because he's got this huge role, but I don't know if he's going to have this huge role in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but tough call. Well, we'll wrap it up here. Hopefully we provided some content. Hopefully you wasted some money out there for corporate America by not working here on a Wednesday afternoon. That's half of my motivation, quite frankly. Let's all just hang out and just talk shit on the company's dime. Well, for Thomas Tipple, I am John Hansen. This has been a week 2 edition of Hump Day with Hansen here at fantasypoints.com. We'll catch you on the flip side, and we'll talk to you next week.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.